guys, it's Mr. Sontag here, and today I'm going to be teaching you your first 6 notes on the guitar. For this lesson, we're going to be using the first and second strings, okay? And in the last video, I taught you how to tune your guitar properly using a tuner and these tuning pegs. And remember to be very careful with your guitar. Now make sure you tune your guitar before practicing. I'm going to tune mine really quickly. E, A, D, G, B, and E, finally. So the 2 strings that we're going to be using are the B and the E strings. E is your first string, B is your second string. So the strings are numbered starting at the bottom. It's kind of silly if you ask me, but the notes are numbered starting at the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? And for this lesson, because it's a beginner lesson, I'm going to be using a guitar pick. And a pick is just a thin piece of plastic that guitarists use so that they don't have to use their fingers on the strings. And there are pros and cons to using your fingers or guitar picks. For beginners, I like to recommend using a guitar pick because it's going to give you a nice even tone every time you play it. Remember when you're playing with a pick that you're not pushing down, just lightly plucking. Just a light pluck, okay? You're gonna hold it between your pointer and your thumb and just give it a nice gentle pluck, okay? So we're using 2 strings. I want you to learn a little bit of terminology with me today. If we're playing our guitar and I say to play open, that means no fingers on the fretboard. So fingers are off. When I say open, it's like open your hand. I want you to just play those 2 notes, E and B, on the first and second string. I want you to try plucking, alternating between those 2 strings, okay? Maybe you have to start slowly and gradually build your speed until you can do it as fast as you want, okay? So those are your first 2 notes, E and B. Very easy because they're open. Whenever I say open, that means no fingers on the fretboard. Your next note that you're going to learn uses your pointer finger on the first string in the first fret. Now remember, the neck is divided into frets, and if you play that first fret with your pointer finger, that gives you the note F. Now, sometimes for beginner students, they have a hard time pressing their finger down. Remember, as you practice more and more, you will get more comfortable playing the notes and getting a nice sound out. When you first start, it might sound a little bit like this. Make sure you press it down a little bit more, okay? Once you have the hang of playing the letter F on your guitar, try this. E, F, E, F. Going back and forth between E and F by releasing your finger, pressing it back on. Releasing, pressing it back on. So let's do that about 4 times. E, F, E, F, E, F, E, F, E. You can do that all day until you get really comfortable doing it. And the next note you're going to learn is a G using your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret on the first string. Notice how the note gets a little bit higher the higher you go on the fretboard. So these are your first 3 notes, E, F, G. Once you get the hang of G, I want you to practice going back and forth between G and F like this. G, F, G, F, G, F, G, F, G. Okay? And that's going to give you a good practice of moving between your fingers, just like this, okay? Okay, once you get the hang of those first 3 notes, E, F, and G, I want you to play all 3 of them in order, just like this. E, F, G, F, E, F, G, F, E, F, G, F, E. You're going to do it 4 times in a row, and this is going to help you build that finger strength and be able to move your fingers independently, okay? I don't want you sliding, because that slide is just bad technique. You gotta try and keep your fingers separated so that each finger lands in a fret, okay? And and that's like that finger's designated fret. So we're going to play E, F, G, F. We're gonna do it 4 times in a row, going up and back down, okay? I'm gonna come a little bit closer so you guys can follow my fingers. E, F, G, F. 1, 2, nice and slow, go. E, F, G, F. Open, 1, 3, 1. Open, 1, 3, 1. Open. Okay, once you get the hang of doing that, see how fast you can go. See how quickly you can play and move between those notes. Okay, those are your first 3 notes on the first string. When I say numbers like 1, that means first finger, first fret. Or if I say 3, that means third finger, third fret. Let's move up to our second string, which starts on B. If you play the second string open, that gives you the note B. And I like to teach these 2 strings together because they use the exact same fingering to play their notes. So here's your first 3 notes on the second string. You have B, C, and D, okay? Open gives you B, pointer finger gives you C, third finger gives you D, okay? Just like we did on the first string, I want you to practice going from open to 1, just like this. Open, 1, B, C, B, C, B, C. Back and forth until you are really comfortable pressing that finger down. And then again, just like we did on the first string, I want you to go D, C, D, C, D, C, D, C. Okay? That's gonna give you good practice playing your notes. Now, a tip is, if you're pressing down the C, you don't have to take it off to play a D. See, if you leave your fingers there, the notes will still play. That's called a hammer-on and a pull-off there. Okay? So just by keeping your pointer finger pressed down, you don't have to keep going back and forth like that. Just keep that pointer finger pressed down. Okay? Until you get a really good hang of it. And the same goes for any string. If you're pressing a fret down that's further back, a lower fret, you can just keep your finger pressed down on it and it won't mess up that other note, okay? I promise. Now, here's your last exercise I want you guys to do. Oh, actually 2 more exercises. I want you to do B, C, D, C, just like we did on the first string. We're gonna do it on the second string. So make sure your pick is plucking the second string now, and you're gonna play B, C, D, C, back and forth 4 times and end on B. And then I'm gonna show you one last quick exercise for you to get comfortable moving between both strings. So here we go. 1, 2, ready, open. Open, C, D, C, B, C, D, C, B, C, D, C, B. Very nice. So now you've learned 6 notes using the first and second strings. B, C, D, E, F, G. Let's play them in order all the way up to G, starting on B, going all the way up to G, and then from G going all the way back down to B. And the one thing that I want you to really focus on is you're picking that once you play B, C, D, you move your pick, shift it down to the first string for E, F, G. And then again, coming back, G, F, E, make sure you bring the pick up to the second string to play your last 3 notes, okay? So what we're gonna play is B, C, D, E, F, G. Once you get to D, make sure you lift your hand for that next note is E is open, okay? And you gotta move down to the first string for that. Okay, you ready? Take a deep breath. I'm gonna play all of our notes. 1, 2, ready. B, C, D, E, F, G. Now we're gonna move all the way back down, starting on G. G, F, E, D, C, B. And that is your first exercise. Come on back for the next video where I'm gonna teach you how to play Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, Ode to Joy, using just those first 2 strings. So now that you've learned your notes, you can start learning songs and beginning to learn songs, okay? until next time, make sure you practice every day. See you soon.